Okay, this video is going to take you through how to upload and display an image and store an image in a database for your website. Okay, right, I'm on the registration screen. So for my little demo, what I've done is, for my user table, I've added a field called picky, which is a text field. Now you can see it. And I'm going to display an image on the registration form and allow them to upload it. So in order to do that, I need to put a couple of toolbox items on there. I'm going to put them on the line after the confirm password thing, so that's before my admin box. I'm going to put it in there. So I'm going to put an image box. I'm going to leave them with all the default names. Remember, you have to change them. So that's going to display the image. I'm going to put a BR to make the thing go on to the next line. I'm then going to put a file upload. So there it is, file upload. And that does all the browsing of your home drive and letting you select. What I'll also need is a button to actually get the file. Okay, so I'm going to change the text on that. Say upload image. Oops. Okay, right, I don't have to do anything with the file upload thing. So, but what I do need to do, let me just synchronize my views. I do need to do some work when I double click the button. Okay, right, there isn't a lot to do here, but this is what we need to do. So when we click the upload button, we need to first off ask the file uploader if it's actually got a file, because otherwise we'll get an error. So we just say has file. So that's as someone browsed and selected a file, not click cancel or whatever. So we're only going to do this task if we do this. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to create a file name, because we need to save this. Now what I'm proposing, you don't have to do this. You can just use the file name that someone's uploaded. Okay, but you might have other files with those names. So I'm going to take some text and I'm going to add to the front of it UID, and then I'm going to add the ID that they're going to generate when the user's created, when their registration happens. Okay, and then I'm going to put the file name. So that hopefully will give me more of a chance. It might actually let me type in a minute. File upload one dot file name. That'll give me some sort of a chance of getting a file that's reasonably unique. Okay. Right. Then I need two file names. I need where I'm going to save it on the actual web server and how I'm going to refer to it when I want to show it as an image. So this first one, the link name, is going to be, let me just turn off my silly touchpad. The link name is going to be this. I'm going to store it in a folder called resources. I'm going to create that in a minute with this file name that I've just created, this fuller file name. The other thing I need is the where am I going to save it on the server. So this will tell me where on the server. So I'm going to say where is the current document on the server. Now the trick here is to use map path and to give it the current page. Okay, so where is it? So it'll give me the actual address of this file on the server. And then I say, right, well, I want the resources folder, and I have to put / because slash is a special character. Okay, so I have to put double slashes when I'm doing these file names as text like this, when it's that backslash. So that gives me the location of the resources folder. Let me just narrow my Solution Explorer a little bit. I'll zoom out. Okay. Then once I've got that, I can combine that with my file name. but I'm also going to make sure, because this is a server file name, that I take any funny characters and get them to be encoded. Technically you're supposed to do this on everything that you do, but we do it for this. Okay, once we've got that, so we've got in here now where we're going to physically save it on the server, so we can actually ask the uploader to save that image. Okay, it's the same upload for anything. If you want to upload anything, it's the same process. It doesn't have to be just an image. Right, once we've got that, we should be able to show on our image that URL we made with the link name. Okay, showing the image is important because that image box is going to remember what that link name is for when we want to save it in the database. So this bit has just saved it on the server. So what we need to do in your web project, you need to go add new folder and create the resources folder. So I've already got my resources folder there. Okay, so I just select a web project, create a resources folder, and that's where I'm going to dump all my images. Otherwise you'll get them all mixed up with your web pages, which you don't want. Okay, right, so that's that process. We then need to, for our registration code, we need to just add the work to put our picture in. So I'm just going to scroll up to where my insert code is. Here's my insert, and I'm going to add my picky field to the number of things I'm going to insert, and add myself another parameter. Okay, so to add the parameter, it's actually quite straightforward. You need to add yours and set yours up to work with your system, so don't blindly copy this. You won't have anything called picky. Remember, I'm just going by what I've called my things. So the type code for this is just string, and we're going to get the string from the image box. So that's the image.image URL. Okay, so that adds that. So that's all I need to change on my query. Okay, the other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to, on my home page now, I'm going to add an image box so I can display the image of the logged in user. Okay, so I'm going to go to my site default page, and here's my main content div. Here's where I do my little welcome message, but above that I'm going to drop an image box. Okay, and what I'm also going to do, I'm going to bring up properties for this, because I don't want a broken image displaying. So what I'm going to do, select the image, go to the properties for that image and set its visible to false, and we'll turn it on if we've got an image to show. Okay, so going through to our code, when we've got the code open, go to the code for this and the page load. Okay, and this is all we need to do, these two lines. Image.visible, and then I've got this a little data helper that's going to get me the picture for the current user. Okay, so I've already created this. Okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete that and create that with you, but it's just a little query. Okay, so I'm going to get rid of that. I'm going to open up my data. Just delete that. Okay, and I'll take you through it. It's quite straightforward. It's quite simple. Okay, so I'm going to say I'm back in default.cs, so I'm going to say get pic of user, I'm going to call it. Okay, doesn't exist, so I'm going to get it to create, so generate a property. So this is just going to query the database for the current user ID and show a picture. Okay, it's not going to set the picture, so we can delete the set bit, delete the semicolon, and put those in. Okay, so I'm just going to put a query gets picky of current user. Okay, right, so we're going to create some SQL, really bog standard. We're going to select picky, remember that's what I've called mine. In fact, it's so simple, I'm going to do it all in one line. So from TBL user where user ID equals my parameter. Okay, my parameter I need to set up, obviously, so parameter collection PC. So same old way that we do it every single one. If we work consistently, it makes it easier and we do less mistakes. So add a new parameter, called it question mark. Type code is just going to be text. It isn't going to be text, it's a flipping integer, isn't it, the user ID. So int32 storage is where my user from my, oh, I wish that would go away. Go away. Storage.userid, but I need to turn it into a string. So if the user ID doesn't exist, remember it returns -1, so it won't attempt to give me any records. Okay, right, so once I set the parameters up, I can execute my query, but I need to store the result in a data view. So execute and fill SQL with that parameter. Okay, right, standard code again, so check to make sure I've got any records. If count is greater than 0, then what we want to do is give back the picture. Now, you might get null. If you've added this in later, you might get null values, and null values are a problem, but we can test for them. So if we say if dv null, so the first record, there should only be one record, picky field is db null, so it's saying is it null? Okay, if it is, what we're going to do is we're going to return, well, we can return empty string if we want. Okay, so we say don't display a picture, or what we can do is we can say resources and then pick default pick, whatever that is, whether that's a PNG or whatever. Okay, so if you just stick an image file with that default name in your resources folder, it'll display that if we didn't have anything to return. Else we'll actually return the actual image that we saved. Okay, you will find that this is some sort of error testing that you need to do, null testing, so you might get null errors, can't convert from db null and things like that, can't cast. Okay, so you might get that issue. Right, that's what we do if we found a record. If we didn't find a record, well, we should do the same thing. We should return this default image. So this won't do anything here because I haven't got a default image called that. Okay, but not to worry. So that just gets and returns whatever the picky setting was in the database. Okay, so back to this. So we turn the image on if we've got a logged in user and set the URL. So I think I've got some users in here already. So I'm just going to run this. I've got some users, but I'll show you creating a new user anyway. Okay. I think I've got one A is one of my users. No, it couldn't have been. DD. DD there. Well, a bit of a big picture. And it says at the bottom, welcome back D. Right, let's create a new user with the more sensible. So I'll register a new name. This is going to be fifth, password fifth. Confirm my password is fifth. Right, so this is what this looks like. And again, you could use a default image on that image box. You know, saying like, oh, pick picture or something like that. So I'm going to browse. If I've got anything that's got small graphics, I'll pick this cloud. It's a GIF. And then I'm going to click upload image, and that's going to run my code. And there you go, there's my little card. Oh, look. Doesn't that look scary? Okay. So my image is uploaded and I can register my details. And then it's gone back to the default page and it's showing it. So let me just prove that. So fifth logs in. Login. Okay. So let's just summarize what we've got. So on our registration form, I added an image tag, I added an uploader and a button. On the button code, I have this. So I check to see if we've got a file uploaded, create some sort of unique thing, and if I open my resources folder, you should see that I've got uid12 storm.gif. I've got a lot of other ones in there because I was using this when I was testing. But there you go, I've got uid12. That was the thing I prepended storm. Now if I look at my user, let's have a look at the data. We should see that that's user 12. It doesn't matter, but it is user 12. Look, fifth is user 12. Okay. So it's stored that. Just made sure I copied the image URL when I added my parameter for storing my picky. And that's it. Important to do the check-in for DB null, but you'll get used to having to do that. Okay, if you've left null fields and things. Alright, and that's it. That's uploading.